Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Olivia of Olivia Sews, and today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a very simple tutorial, no machines required. Yesterday I went to the thrift store and I picked up this adorable tank top for $3, and I tried it on when I got home and I loved it, but I realized that in the front here that it was kind of falling apart. There's some loose stitches right there and the seam is ripping. So I figured that this would be a great opportunity to show you how you might be able to fix something like this. Super simple. Let's go ahead and jump right into it. Before we get into it, I want to start off by explaining what a seam is. Essentially, if we were to turn our garment inside out, a seam is where two of the pattern pieces come together, and on the outside, it'll look like this. For example, if you turn the garment inside out, you can see I have the front seam, the front piece here, and the back piece here, and where they come together is considered the seam. What I'm trying to do right now is reattach this bust piece to the base piece here. To do this, you don't need any special equipment. I'm just going to be using a standard needle as well as some thread. Now, I'm going to try to do this in purple thread just so that you can see it on the screen, but ideally you should be using a thread that matches your garment. I'm also going to keep a pair of thread snips nearby, but if you have scissors, that totally works too. First thing you want to do is pull and create a long thread tail and thread your needle. You're going to want to make sure that your thread is long enough to cover the distance that you need to close. I'm going to tie a knot there, and then I'm going to snip off the end. I'm going to start by putting my needle from the inside going towards the outside of the garment. So I'm going to kind of like scoop in here where the opening is and just barely catch the end of my fabric so that the little knot that I just created is on the inside of my garment here. The next thing that I'm gonna do, now that I've attached the thread to the base piece, I'm now going to grab from the inside seam the bust piece. I'm just gonna grab a little tiny bit, and I'm gonna pull my thread very gently. And I'm not gonna pull tight yet. I just wanna make sure that there aren't any like crazy loops because I don't want it to get knotted at all. I'm gonna go back over to my base piece and I'm gonna grab a little bit from there and do the exact same thing. And the whole point is to alternate from one side of your garment to the other. You can start to see as this comes together that I'm creating almost what looks like a ladder with these straight lines that are connecting my base piece to my bust piece. I'm just doing that all the way across here. And when you're done, you should be able to gently pull your thread and you'll see that it actually closes your seam there. All of those stitches that I just made aren't visible from the outside anymore. Once you have closed your seam and you've tightened your thread, what I'm going to do is I like to, rather than like cutting off the needle and tying a knot, I will just loop the thread around itself with the needle. It's just a little bit easier, and then you don't accidentally make a knot like too far up on the thread. Because I don't want to have any thread tails, what I'm going to do is I will insert my needle into the seam so that the needle comes out through the other side of my garment. And I'm going to pull. And then from there, I can take my thread snips and snip the thread tails. So that way it looks like a nice finished and clean garment, and there's no longer that opening, and that is how you fix it. And if you are on your own self-taught sewing journey, make sure you check out my ebook, The Sewing Handbook. This is a 105-page book that goes over everything that you need to know to start learning how to sew, specifically with a machine, but this tutorial is also written in here with pictures and it has written instructions, and there's so much more. So if you are learning how to sew, doing thrift flips, or making your dream wardrobe from scratch, make sure you check it out. Thanks so much for watching, y'all, and I'll see you next time.